let's look at how to construct objects. So I'm inside this class, public class, constructing objects. And before objects can be constructed, a class with constructors must exist. And that's what we're in right now. We're in this class that's going to have some constructors in it. Now, this is ignoring the default constructor, which we can find in other notes. So a quick note here. A class can have as many constructors as it needs, but each constructor must have different parameters. So if I have one constructor that has an integer parameter, I can have another constructor that has a double parameter, but I could not have another constructor that receives only a single int as a parameter. Okay, so let's look at our instance fields, all instance variables also known as fields, private int x, comma, y. So I have a no parameter constructor called public constructing objects. Again, remember the constructor needs the same name as the class. Now, even though I didn't assign a value to x and y, it is initialized to its data type's default value. Now, x and y were integers, thus their default value is 0. So this initializes them to 0. All right, now we've got a one parameter constructor. So public constructing objects int a, so it receives a single variable. So I assign that value to x. So x is going to be whatever I sent it as a single parameter. And even though we didn't assign the value to y, it's initialized to its data type's default value, which is 0. Then we have a two parameter constructor. So public constructing objects, we receive two parameters, a and b, and I set x to a, y to b. Now I made one method inside this class to make our life a little bit easier. We wanted to show what the values of these fields are, so I call this method print fields, and it prints off x equals the value of x, and then y equals the value of y. So I can print off what is in each side of the object. Now let's go to my client class. So inside my client class, I have the main. Now, here's where I'm actually going to construct our objects. What I wrote inside the class is the constructor. Here I'm going to construct an object. And there's three parts to constructing an object: the declaration, the instantiation, and initialization. So declaration, this creates an associated variable name with an object type, like int x. Instantiation, the new keyword is a Java operator that creates the object. So whenever we create an object, we need to use the word new. In initialization, the new operator is followed by a call to the constructor, which initializes the object. So this is where I'm initializing, giving a value to the object. And I call the constructor, sending however many parameters I want to the constructor, assuming that they match. So I did this 3 times. So I got this declaration, the variable name, instantiation, which is new, and then the initialization. So constructing objects, C1 equals new constructing objects, and I didn't send it a parameter. So if you remember, if I don't send it a parameter, it's going to be a 0 and 0. Constructing objects, C2, new constructing objects 10. So if you send it a single parameter, the x value is set to that parameter, and the y value is 0. Constructing objects, C3, new constructing objects 3, 7. So this gives me 3 and 7. X is 3, y is 7. And then I print these off to confirm that these are working like I think they should be. So let's test this. Let's run it. So I'll compile this, and let's run it. 0, 0, 10, 0, 3, 7. And there we go. That is the end of these notes.